Hi, and welcome to today's video on operations with fractions.
Let's look at our table of contents. First, we're going to be adding fractions, then subtracting fractions, multiplying fractions, and dividing fractions.
Number 1, adding fractions. How do we add fractions with the same denominator? The first step is to note the denominators. Are they the same or are they different? And if they are the same, then add the numerators and put the sum over the original denominator. Do not add the denominators. And then lastly, simplify the fraction if necessary. So in this example, we have the equation 3/7 plus 2/7. So since the denominators are the same, all we have to do is add 3 plus 2, which equals 5. So the answer for this equation is 5/7. So a note is to remember that the denominator stays the same, and this fraction is already simplified, so there's no need to simplify it further.
Now let's look at how to add fractions with different denominators. First, we have to note whether the denominators are the same or different. If they are different, then find the common denominator between the two. Then we add the numerators and put the sum above the common denominator. Lastly, we simplify the fraction. So in this example, we have 3/6 plus 5/12. The common denominator is 12, since 12 is a multiple of 6. So 6/12 plus 5/12 equals 11/12. And this sum is already simplified, so we do not need to further simplify.
Try some of these equations by yourself. Let's try one together. So the first one is 3/5 plus 1/10. So the common denominator for these fractions would be 10. So the first fraction would be 6/10 plus 1/10. So the answer is 7/10, and there's no need to simplify it because it's already simplified.
Now let's look at subtracting fractions. How do we subtract fractions with the same denominator? First, we make sure that the denominators are the same. Then we subtract the numerators and place them over the denominators. Do not subtract the denominators. Lastly, we simplify the fraction if necessary. So in this example, we have 5/8 minus 2/8. We have a common denominator, so it stays the same. In the numerators, for the numerators, we have 5 and 2. We subtract 5 minus 2, which equals 3, which is our numerator. So our end difference would be 3/8. Also, this fraction is already simplified.
Subtracting fractions with a different denominator. So the steps for that would be to make sure that the denominators are different, and if they are different, find a denominator with both of the fractions, a common denominator, and then subtract the numerators, and then simplify the fraction if necessary. So in this example, we have 2/5 minus 2/10. So the common denominator would be 10. So the first fraction would become 4/10 minus 2/10, which is equal to 2/10. And if we had to simplify it further, it would be 1/5.
Now let's try one together. Let's look at number 11. We have 8/8 minus 1/2. The common denominator would be 8, since 8 is a multiple of 2. So 1/2 would become 4/8. So 8 minus 4 would equal 4, which is our numerator, and 8 is our common denominator. So 4/8 is our difference, which can be further simplified to 1/2.
Number 3, multiplying fractions. So the first step to multiplying fractions is you do not have to pay attention to the denominator this time. The second step is to multiply the numerator and the denominator, then simplify. So note that this is probably the easiest operation with fractions. Also, if the fraction is greater than 1, then make the fraction an improper fraction to multiply. So in this example, 3/5 times 10/8 is our equation. So all we have to do is multiply the numerators, so 3 times 10, which equals 30, and then multiply the denominators, so 5 times 8, which is 40. This product can be further simplified into 3/4. So now let's try some of these problems. Okay, let's try the first one. 3/10 times 2/3. So all we have to do is multiply the numerators, so 3 times 2 is 6, and then multiply the denominators, which would be 10 times 3, so that is equal to 30. So the answer for this would be 6 over 30.
Dividing fractions. So to divide fractions, we don't need to pay attention to the denominators. We use a technique. The technique is called KCF. K stands for keep, which means we keep the first fraction the same. C stands for change, so we change the sign of the operation from division to multiplication. F stands for flip. We flip the numerator and the denominator of the second fraction, so we find the reciprocal. In this example, we have 3/4 divided by 2 over 3. We keep the first fraction the same, we change the sign to a multiplication sign, and we find the reciprocal of the second fraction, which is 2 over 3. The reciprocal of 2 over 3 is 3 over 2. So the expression would be 3 over 4 times 3 over 2, which equals 9 over 8. And this cannot be further simplified. Now let's try some for yourself. Let's look at the first example. We have 1 over 7 divided by 3 over 4. We keep the first fraction, we change the sign to a multiplication sign, and we find the reciprocal of the second fraction. The reciprocal is 4 over 3. So the product would be 4 over 21, which cannot be further simplified. Thank you for watching.
See you in the next video.